Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy J Rocks. Today I'm hitting you with another comic book review. Today we're gonna be digging into Green Arrow Longbow Hunters. This is written by Mike Grell, and guess what? It's also drawn by Mike Grell. So we got the same person doing the art and the writing. So that's kind of interesting to me because when somebody's writing a book and they're doing the drawing, they got an idea of what they want going on in the panel to go with the dialogue they're writing. So they're more in sync because they just gotta be in sync with themselves. Now, the reason I picked this up, if you guys follow my channel, you know I've been wanting to do more DC stuff. I've been wanting to read more DC because I don't know much about the DC universe. And I didn't want to just pick up any random thing that I'm not gonna like. I tried a few, didn't enjoy them, whatever. This I picked it up because look at the cover. It's a lot of like raw pencils, and then even the colors are like color pencils. So the art is a lot different than anything I see, and even the cover is a lot different than things I usually see. So let's get to the book. This book is set like in reality, just brings a total reality. Ain't no capes and heroes and superpowers. Ain't none of that going on here. Here we got Oliver Queen. He's the Green Arrow, right? And it's a good jumping on point. It kind of reintroduces you to his origin, how he started mastering the bow and arrows and so forth. And he's talking about how he really just is tired of using these trick bow and arrows that throw smoke bombs and this and that. He's like, because of this, I'm losing my touch. So he starts sharpening real bow and arrows and just getting back to the basics. He's like, so I could get back on point. I could be back on my targets or whatever. So once he does this, it kind of sets the tone for what the book's gonna be about. It's not even in Star City or Starling City, whatever. It's in Seattle. So we're dealing with a real world, real weapons, and real world problems here. This story, like I said, it deals with like prostitution, drugs, and they don't use metaphors. They don't cover it up. That might not be for everybody. Sometimes you might want like made up drug names, and you might want um, made up cities, made up weapons where real blood don't come out. You're not gonna get any of that here. Like I said, this might not be for everybody. And all I can say is, I love that concept. So I think I gave you a basic synopsis of everything. Now we're gonna get into spoiler territory now, because now we're gonna get a little bit into the story. All right. This story starts off in, like I said, in Seattle, and you see the building right here. What is it? The Stratosphere or whatever. It's a famous place in Seattle, and I like what they do here. Like, if you're familiar with that area, you lived there in the 80s, you might recognize a lot of these bars, these buildings, these restaurants. That's one thing I like when they have that real world feel to them, because they draw stuff that you might be familiar with if you live in that area. That's always fun. The people here are very, of the time. They're rocking that 80s look, and starts off with this hooker looking for work or whatever. And man, right off the bat, like right off the beginning, she just gets brutally murdered. She just gets stabbed. And man, like this thing is brutal. This book is brutal, guys. It's shows a lot of blood. It shows when somebody gets killed and stuff. Like, it shows the scenes when it's happening. Like, it doesn't cover it up or anything. I'm really pretty sure this did not have the Comic Code's authority. I'm pretty sure. I really don't see any of this stuff getting a pass. Um, so here the panels, I like what they do here. Like, Mike Grell does it shows a murder scene. You see the girl laying here all dead, right? And then you see the newspaper panel in black and white. Well, maybe not the most creative. I've seen other books do it too. But with this art style, it just gives you like a whole different feel because of the style of the art. And it looks good in black and white, and it looks good in color right here. It looks gritty either way, because some might look cartoony, or some depending on the colors they're using or inks or whatever, and then you get a whole different feel when you see the raw pencils in black and white. This one, you get the same feel either way. It looks harsh either way, like it's all bad. Setting is a very grounded story. This story can basically be like a 80s action movie. You don't need to call him Green Arrow. It's just action movies. It really doesn't really have a superhero feel to it. He just happens to wear the superhero costume. So right away in the next panel, you got this drug addict hooker just flying through a window right into Oliver's place, into Green Arrow's. She lands, she had some type of overdose, or she had a bad batch or something. So Green Arrow's like, well, what's she tweaking on, or what's going on here? She's all cracked out. And they show this picture here. Now, if you have kids or something, you might not want them reading this book. You might not really don't know. Some people like to coddle their kids a little more than others, so it depends on the person. Well, they're showing like some drug paraphernalia, and it's very accurate to how the real things look. Like I'm telling you, they're not sugarcoating it. You're just popular stuff that was going on in the 80s too. So Green Arrow's holding the crack. He says this looks like crack cocaine, and then he hits the crack pipe. He's like, she's out of her mind or whatever you want to call it. One thing that was a little funky right here, the house he's in, everything's kind of realistic. Then he's living like in a house, and then half of it is like a castle. This kind of felt out of place. But anyways, they call the ambulance, whatever. They're telling her this girl's all cracked the hell out, and So it turns out this girl, she's a 17-year-old girl named Rita. That like she's been doing crack for 2 years. To them that's a child. They're like hitting their late 30s, their 40s. Black Canary and Green Arrow. So that's like a child to them. They're like, wow, like it makes you think like what the life some kids are living. Green Arrow's putting up a painting of Robin Hood, and he's like, wow, or I think it's a painting of himself. I don't know, but he's looking at the painting, and Black Canary's like, you really love that painting, don't you? He's like, yeah. It's not the painting I like. What that symbolizes. It reminds me of the old days. And he goes, but they're gone, aren't they? And he's talking about that he's just having this stroll down memory lane. That's where he's stuck at right now, and he's memorizing how he became Green Arrow. You see him stranded on an island. To eat, to capture animals, he had to learn how to build a bow and arrow, how to use it. And he also talks about this guy, I think he's Speedy. He's like his stepson, like he's basically like his Robin, right? And he goes how he basically raised him as kind of like his child, and he went through drug issues. You have a picture here where he's just shooting up heroin, and man, like this thing is graphic. Like they get really down into the details. Like he has his arm here, veins pumping, rubber band wrapped around his bicep, the syringe, everything. I was like, damn, they're really not sugarcoating anything here. And it tells you the basic story of how the legend Green Arrow was born, which I enjoyed. You got it done in 2 pages. Nice, get the whole rundown in 2 pages. What more you need? And then you see Black Canary looking all sexy, but she's a little bit in her older age already. Green Arrow is just checking her out, talking about, you know what? You're looking hot. And he's thinking, why don't we give up the superhero game and settle down and have a normal life? And she's like, I'm wearing this costume to role play right now because since you're having a crush down memory lane right now, so I thought this would help to get him in the mood. She's getting all kinky and stuff with her blonde wig and so forth. Fishnet stockings, all that good stuff. So after they're done doing the nasty deed, right? They're laying down in the bed, chillaxing, and then they're still conversating about their earlier topics, and Black Canary's telling Oliver, you know what? I want to find these drug dealers. She's a detective in this story. She's an undercover cop, and she's telling him, I want to find these drug dealers. They're ruining our youth. This girl was just 17, so on and so on. He's trying to talk her out of it. He's like, just retire. Let's just, we're already getting up there in age. Let's just call it a career already. She obviously goes against his wishes. She's gonna do what she's gonna do. She's a grown ass woman. So this next panel, I really enjoyed this panel. It was tight. You got 4 diamonds, like 4 squares, and in each square you got something different going on. In one square you see one of these guys getting shot in the ear. The other one you see a guy getting shot in the hand with the arrows. And then the other one you see a guy getting almost shot in the balls, like right close as a warning shot. That one got off easy. And then you see in the background on the behind these panels is one big panel, and it's Oliver Queen, and he's suited and booted, right? He's since Black Canary wasn't gonna call it a day. Neither was he, so he has his costume right back on, and he's over here stopping crime, asking questions to these guys about what's going on with these murders of all these hookers getting murdered, right? Who's the slasher? What do you guys know? You guys run around the streets, you know, bad news travels in the streets, so you gotta know something. So after the when the cops come here, I like what Mike Grell did here. Like, you have the cops interrogating the thugs, and they're describing Oliver Queen. Oh, he looked this way and this way. And you see a completely demonic person, the way they drew him here. And then when they're asking the old couple, they're asking the old lady that was gonna get jacked for her purse that they were robbing from. How did she describe the person, the vigilante? And she gives her description, and it's like angels, very angelly, like. So they're both describing the same person. They see them completely different. I love when art does this. When art tells a good story, you need less dialogue because the art's doing a lot of talking. I really enjoy stories like that. I don't like the dialogue to always like. I don't always like the writer holding my hand, explaining everything to me. That's what the art's there for. Just have the characters speak. Don't have them explain what their master plan is and what special weapons they're using and why. Let the story do it. I don't like a story when it's do it. If you have to point it out with dialogue and the story can't do it, you're not doing a good job telling the story. Okay, so you know Oliver Queen's still going around, um, same old, still interrogating people. Other part of the story is we have these like former military people. They're all part of Vietnam, I believe. They're all up there in age already, but they're retired military, and they're all getting picked off one by one. So they're at this funeral. Bam! Another one gets killed when he shows up to the funeral. So somehow they're all connected. Like everybody's getting killed is connected. They're getting killed by another archer, but it's not Oliver Queen. But at this point, we don't quite know that yet. And so this is another story that somehow intertwines with the. Actually, it's almost three different stories. We got the slashers raping hookers, we got the drug dealers, and we got this archer that's murdering people too. Now, to our surprise, the archer is female, and she has this big motherfucking dragon tattoo all over her shoulder. So if you guys are familiar, Chinese gang members, they have tattoos either on the arm or whatever, right, in certain places. So she has one, and it's a girl archer, and she's Asian. She has her tattoo, so we know she's some type of organized crime member. And I won't get too deep into the story why, but so you could, I want you to read it, find out about all this. But yeah, she's just as good an archer as Oliver Queen is, and we get a story of her of what she's doing. She's pursuing all these guys for there's a good reason for it. Her dad was Asian, and he was in the war, right? So he was in the war fighting for United States, but the American soldiers or whatever, they're like, you're not quite one of us. You're with the Vietnamese and this and that. Obviously, he wasn't treated right, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But here we see her just putting work in, just murking people left and right. Here's a few panels. Again, very nice pencils. It's all pure pencils. There's no thick marker outlines or anything like that. So all this stuff that's been going down, it forces, well, it doesn't force, but Oliver Queen makes a few questionable decisions. Let's just leave it at that. More than one, there's a few things he does that you're like, wow, a hero wouldn't do this or that. And this girl, her name is Shadow. She's like, you're not a lot different than me. And he's like, yo, I'm a lot different. She's like, you're doing all the same stuff I'm doing. And again, I don't want to say all the things he ends up doing, but he does a lot of like shady stuff that maybe not shady, but things the Shadow would do, things not exactly that a police or a hero would do, more of a vigilante. And I'll leave you with this panel here. I like just the aura it brings, very light touches, a lot of lines, a lot of cross hatching, and very light colors. Really digging this panel. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to get too more into it. There's a lot of brutal scenes, some very mature content. And yeah, check it out, man. Check it out. This was a really good read. Definitely gonna pursue Green Arrow. I'm not gonna give any more away than that. I want you guys to, if you haven't read this book, check it out. definitely it's a if you're a Green Arrow fan or you want to get into Green Arrow, great place to start, and it's a must read if you already got the basics about him, you know his origin and so forth. This includes the origin, but it still has a really good story to it, so I'll say still pick it up if you haven't read it. And yeah, again, hit that subscribe button. I'll try to post more Green Arrow stuff because this I definitely like, so I'm gonna follow this run by this writer. I'll get the second volume down the road. And yeah, hit that like button if you enjoyed this story or if you enjoyed this video. And leave your comments on the bottom. Let me know what you thought about this story. I thought it was really good from what the DCs I've read. This is definitely up there. And I'll just check you guys out next time.